Hello and welcome to the SecureX update. This is the March 2021 edition. My name is Ben Greenbaum, and we're going to talk about what's new and improved lately in the last couple of releases of SecureX. We've got some exciting developments to share with you, and one of them is that you can share your dashboards with each other. We've made it possible for you to post a dashboard up for sharing within your organization so that your other members of the organization can copy it and not have to set it up for themselves. We'll go over what that looks like and a little bit about how it works. We've also got some new items in the investigations toolkit in threat response. We've got weak relationships, which sounds bad, but is not. And we've got observable management, which is not the fact that the management can be observed, but is new ways of managing the observables that are in your investigation. In the pivot menu, we've got some new icons that show you what kind of action it is that you're currently looking at in that menu. And in the incident manager, we've got some exciting new tools to help you filter what may, in a large organization, be a large number of incidents. So without further ado, let's get into it and have a look at those shared dashboards. Now here we have two browsers side by side, and each of them has a different user logged in. On the left we have an admin user, and on the right we have a user level user, and neither one of them has configured any dashboards whatsoever. So our admin user is going to log in first and add some tiles. We're going to create a new dashboard. We're going to give this a name. We're going to select all of the Cisco Secure endpoint tiles that are available, and we're going to click Save. And this, just like it used to, is going to draw for us the dashboard on the screen that we just created. I'm going to resize some things and move some stuff around. And now I'm going to go back into Customize. Now that I've got the tiles positioned where and the way that I want to, I'm now going to share this dashboard. And you see it pops up as a shared dashboard right there on the list. I'm going to click Save now. And I've saved that shared dashboard. Now we're going to log in as our user level user, add tiles, and you see that I've now got endpoint security available in my list of shared dashboards. I'm going to click the little plus sign to add it to my dashboards. And you see that I've got endpoint security copy now listed in my dashboard. So I'm going to save this as is. It's showing already that the 5 tiles are selected. I'm just going to save it. And that's all I need to do to get the exact dashboard that my admin set up for me. Now I can edit this. I can also move things around. I can do my own setup if I want to. I can change things entirely. I can go back into Customize and I can decide I don't want this to be the endpoint dashboard. I want to make a threat grid malware analysis dashboard. I'm even going to change the name. And now I'm going to click Save. And look what I've done now. My copy looks nothing like the original copy that my administrator so kindly made for me. But what I can easily do now is go back into Customize if I want to. And I can just click Sync to Original. And then, yes, I'm sure, Sync. And then Save. And here we have that same tile layout and everything that my admin had set up for me. That's a whirlwind tour of dashboard sharing, the ability for admins to create dashboard templates that the users can then share, import into their own account, and then edit if they need to because it's a copy, but then revert back to the original template at any time. The next thing we're going to look at is the threat response tools, and we're going to look at the weak relationships and observable management features and see what each of those mean. To do that, we're going to start with doing an investigation. We're going to investigate internetbadguys.com, internetgoodguys.com, internetchaoticneutralguys.com, cisco.com, and a file hash. And we're going to make sure that auto emit is turned on over here, and we're going to investigate. And through the magic of video editing, our investigation has completed, and the first thing I'm going to show you is the weak relationship. Now, there are relationships between all of these items in this fairly busy graph of various kinds, and we can tell if something is the same target or the same node on the graph through a number of different ways, but some ways aren't as reliable as others. And so far, we've only been showing strong relationships. But now, here's a dotted line. This is a weak relationship between two of our targets. This target endpoint has the same IP address, and it shows there when you hover over it, as this target endpoint. These two targets were reported by different technologies, but both having the same IP address. Now, as we know, IP addresses are transient. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was the same device, thanks to the magic of NAT and DHCP. They could be entirely different things. But they do have the same IP in this graph, and we want to at least show the possibility that these might be the same thing without inaccurately assuming that they are the same thing. So that's weak relationships. Now, the next thing I want to show you is observable management, the ability to better manage the observables in the investigation. Now, we had 5 things in our list. We had 4 domains and a file hash. But you see here, we have one that was omitted, and we turned auto omit on. We made sure it was on before the investigation started. And so one of them was omitted, and that was Cisco.com, because Cisco.com has a clean reputation. And so automatically what auto omit does, one of the things that it does, is remove known clean observables from the investigation. But if I wanted to, I could hit the investigate button here, and that would then add it into this ongoing investigation. Similarly, under investigated, I've got the items that were investigated, and for each of those, I've got the option to click the remove button and to remove it from the investigation. I can also click here in the drop-down for related items that were returned to me as a result of my investigation into the observables I started with, and I could add any of those into the investigation here easily as well. And then if you go to the Add to Investigation up here, what looks like a simple input field actually has a fair amount of capability to it. It shows me the observables that I started with, their current status, checked or not, whether or not they are in the investigation, and I can click here to select or click here to unselect and hit investigate, and those selections will then determine which of the observables are included in the investigation this time around. And while we've got this investigation loaded, I'm just going to show you the pivot menu changes I was talking about as well. And you can see in the actions that are available to me off of this node in the graph, I've got 2 different kinds of icons here. I've got the standard exit here and go to a new website that points out the reference actions I can take, whether that's jumping into AMP for endpoints or jumping into Gigamon threatened sites or one of our other configured technologies, or I've got the little play button that denotes various actions I can take. I can jump into Talos Intelligence to search for this domain. I can look for it in a couple of different ways on ThreatGrid or an umbrella. I can take the response action of blocking this domain. So the 2 different icons to show the 2 different kinds of actions that are available to me via my modules in the pivot menu, the reference action and the response action. And so with that described, let's go to our final thing for today's update, the Incident Manager's new incident filters. So here we are in the Incident Manager, and if you're a large organization, you may have a lot of these incidents, and my organization has 144 plus thousand of them, and if I want to find a specific one or even a subset of them, that could become difficult. Now we've got the ability to search for strings and various other types of search terms using the Lucene syntax or even just simple text searches, but we've also got some new filtration options. So I can sort these by to whom are they assigned? Are they assigned to me? Are they assigned to someone who's not me? Or are they unassigned entirely? And then I can only choose to include various statuses. So from this list of almost 150,000, I can easily pick out, okay, just the ones that are assigned to me, and that immediately drops it down quite a bit, and just the ones that are new. I can also pick within a time range to further narrow it down. And so in the last week, there are 2 issues that have been assigned to me, a very easy way for me to drill down to exactly the ones that I was looking for. This is going to be of most value to save time in trying to get a specific subset of your incidents ready for you to work on, especially in those environments that do tend to have a lot of incidents. That's it. With everything covered on our agenda, I'm going to, as usual, leave you with some resources you can use to learn more about SecureX. First, we have the SecureX main page on Cisco.com, followed by a SecureX videos playlist on YouTube, followed by a short list of videos that is merely the videos in this update series. And we have the SecureX FAQ, and then we have the SecureX section of DevNet for the developer or potential developer in your organization. And then lastly, the release notes. And this has been a whirlwind tour of only the top features released in the last couple releases of SecureX. But for all the details about all the changes that have been released in SecureX, you can always go to those release notes and get all the information that you need on what's new and what's great in SecureX. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your interest in SecureX. By all means, please do take care and please continue learning about SecureX. Thank you.